Excuse me, Lily. What is this invitation for? This doesn't look like the place I said I wanted you to have the wedding at.
I'm sorry, Kimberly, but there were a lot of people booked at the place you recommended that we have our wedding at. And it was the kind of place that required large numbers of people, and the website said to at least have 200 guests.
Well, you can get that amount of people together for your wedding, though. After inviting not only close family and friends, but everyone you knew from school and from your work, you'll have that many guests. And when it comes to my family, we have plenty of family members that we can bring along, and close to 25 cousins alone.
You really want that many people coming to our wedding, though?
If anything, not inviting a lot of guests would be strange. I'm sorry. For a family like yours, you don't have a lot of people in it, right? With you only ever having your mother around, you're missing all the family that your father would have had.
That's very true. And when it comes to my mom's family, it's pretty small. So there wouldn't be a lot to invite to the wedding for me.
So in other words, you went ahead and chose another venue because you didn't want to be embarrassed on your wedding day, right? Even though your mother-in-law went through all that effort finding you the perfect wedding venue of all places.
It had nothing to do with me not wanting to be embarrassed. I told you already that there was a lot of people already booked for the place, and that they asked while we invite at least 200 guests to it. We plan on only having close family and friends at the wedding, so that wouldn't do. We don't really like standing out in front of a bunch of people anyway.
But the wedding is where you're supposed to. The reason you hold it in the first place is to have as many people as possible celebrating it. However, you're saying you want to host a tiny little wedding of all things. I feel bad for my son Jack now.
Why?
There is only ever one wedding in a person's life, and I want for my successful son to be celebrated by as many people as possible on his big day. Yet for some reason, he's getting married to his fatherless woman. And because of that, his chance to show off to so many people is being ruined, and made another small get-together like all those simple couples have for weddings. I feel so sorry for the kid.
But even Jack said that he'd like to have a smaller wedding.
He's only saying that in order not to cause any trouble for you. Deep down, he's like any other man who wants to throw a massive party and be celebrated by all. I wonder if my son would be able to change to a better woman to make his wife. One who actually has both of her parents still. He does not need someone like you as a wife. I know that.
What?
This is what happens when you only have one parent raising you. He's going to have to sacrifice himself in order to deal with all the crap you've brought to the table now. I really do feel so sorry for the boy.
Kimberly, don't get started again with all those insults about my mom and I, please. And right now, we're not even talking about my family or how I was raised. So let's get back to talking about the wedding, shall we?
Shut up! I will not have a poor and fatherless child like you talking back to me like that. I guess you really weren't raised properly then. You don't even know your own position in the society right now.
What are you talking about? I am just wanting to get married to the man I love, and you just happen to be the mother of the man I love. So please stop talking to me in a manner as rude as that.
Huh?
Also, you need to stop calling my family poor like that as well. I get that you don't like the kind of background that I have, but you are starting to make fun of my mom now as well. Go ahead and say what you like about me, but you leave my mom out of it.
I know that you are all poor in that household. All of you single-parent families are nothing more than moneyless beggars.
Excuse me?
The job of a mother is to give their kids all the love in their heart. Things like money are what the man of the house is for, the father. But because you had no father, your mother had to go out and work all the time, leaving you at home alone. And there is no way a woman who works is making more than a man could. You were raised in a lazy household with no money and no love in it at all.
My mom made sure to love and support me better than anyone else could have. I never had a bad memory about my life when I've been with her, and there was never a moment where I regretted having her as my mom. I had a very good life as a child and a teen with her, and had everything everyone else my age had.
Stop trying to act all tough, you fatherless heathen. Now you're just getting all sassy with me, which is something I'll allow a wife of my son to be. I'm going to make sure your marriage doesn't happen anymore. Actually, I've already found my son a woman that is perfect for his class.
Stop saying such stupid crap like that. You can hate me all you want, but you do not get a say in the marriage your son has. And I'm going to marry him.
Well, my son happens to understand everything I tell him, and he's only agreeing with what you've chosen right now. Soon, he'll be agreeing with me again, and we'll be looking past you. Hey, Jack, would you like to come out with your mom for lunch sometime? Recently, you and I haven't been able to have the mother-son bonding time we used to have.
What? Kimberly?
Come on now, don't call me by my first name, please. I understand that you plan to get married soon and have a family of your own, but I'm still your mom, right? I will always be your mother forever, so please, continue calling me Mom. You can even call me Mama like you did when you were a little rascal.
What?
Listen, Jack, you and I can go get something for lunch together at the start of next month if you like. I actually happen to have a woman that I'd really like for you to meet.
What are you saying right now? You do realize that at the beginning of next month, I'm getting married to Lily, right? That's our wedding then.
You can put something like that on hold for a bit.
Huh?
Just say that you can't have a wedding that day anymore. I understand that in this day and age, something like that is hard to do, so you are more than welcome to cancel last minute on Lily if you'd like. Give an excuse about how you become sick or something.
Is this woman you have for me really worth canceling my wedding over in order to meet?
I put all of my marbles together looking for the perfect woman for you. She happens to be the daughter of a CEO as well. She has a great education, and her character is phenomenal. She is the perfect woman for a man like you. I think you'd be far better off with someone like her as your wife.
In other words, you're asking me to jump over to her and leave Lily behind? There's only a month left before the wedding and everything, and you're asking me to do the absurd.
I'm asking you to meet with this woman for me because I don't believe in you getting married to Lily. A CEO's daughter like her is 100 times better than that Lily is for you. If you do meet with this other woman and still want to be with Lily, then I guess you really do love her. Then I will never say another thing about you two ever again.
Really?
I'm just worried about you is all, Jack. I want you to have a marriage that won't fail you ever in the future. That is why this is the one and only thing I'm asking you to do for me. Just meet with her one time for me. And if you still choose to be with Lily, then I'll make sure to pay for your wedding being cancelled or delayed.
If that's what you're wanting, then I understand. I just have to meet with her once, right?
That's all I'm asking. Thank you so much, Jack. The fact that you're listening to me still shows that you really do love me, and I love you too. I'll get in touch with them right now and set up a date for you two. I'm sorry, Lily. I'm not going to be able to come out to your wedding today. Something very important just came up that I must be at.
Something more important than your own son's wedding. Today is our wedding, all right? So, shouldn't this come before anything else?
Well, this is something very important to me. And it's not like you're even going to be able to have that wedding anyway. I've never heard of a wedding being held before where the groom isn't present. Since that's the kind of wedding you'll be having today, then there's no problem with me not showing up to it, right?
Huh?
Actually, it's not just me skipping out on the wedding, but my son as well. Sounds like he's not feeling too good right now. He said that he's been worried sick about getting married to a fatherless child like you. Which is why he asked me to tell you that he wants for today's wedding to be cancelled.
I don't think that Jack would ever ask for something like that.
If you don't believe me, then take a look around at your wedding venue. My son shouldn't be anywhere inside that place. Perhaps he's even out right now with a really special woman having some coffee in this point in time.
Excuse me?
Anyway, now that you're aware of that, I'm going to be heading out. My son and I are both not showing up today, and I promise you that we won't be showing up for you no matter how much you beg for us to come. Forget about that marriage, please.
We never invited you though, Mom.
What? So don't worry about letting us know that you have plans more important than my wedding?
Never wanted you to be here today, so this isn't a problem for us.
A what? You just call me Mom, Lily. Huh?
But don't hurry your way out to that cafe. I already talked with that woman about what was going on, so you can go there, but there won't be anyone else to meet. Now have yourself a good coffee, all alone.
Wait a second, please. What? What the hell is going on here? Why are you using Lily's phone right now? Does that mean you're actually at that wedding venue already? You promised to come out with me to meet this woman I'd found for you, right?
Jack told me he never made that promise with you. I was just acting like him at the time and made that fake promise.
What?
So, you never did realize who you were texting then? Actually, when you were talking with who you presumed to be Jack about that woman you found for him, you were really talking to me. You told him to cancel last minute on our wedding, and then go out with you to meet that woman, right? A CEO's daughter, correct?
What was that?
I was pretty shocked to hear all of that from you. Never thought there could be a mother in this world willing to do something so horrible to her son. And then you went on about how I would beg for you guys to come here. Well, I was the one that made this whole plan up with you, and there's no reason for me to beg for any other outcome now.
No way. How could I have made such a mistake as that?
I was going to tell you who I was at the very start, but then I thought about how if I blew my cover there, you would come up with another plan to try and ruin this wedding another time. So I just decided to play Jack that time and get you to make a plan that was never going to happen. And then I thought to myself how I didn't want someone like you coming to our wedding later. Really, I thought it was the perfect chance to get you to stay away from the wedding.
Huh?
So, after I had faked being Jack and made that fake promise with you, I told Jack about everything and showed him the text you were sending me. And when I told him about how we wouldn't invite you after that, he was really happy. He told me that he would feel a whole lot better not having you at the wedding. So then and there, we both agreed to keep you off the guest list. You really are such a wonderful mother, aren't you?
I'm not screwing around right now. You've been making fun of me this whole entire time. Don't think you can get carried away now just because you kept me away from that wedding.
I'm not getting carried away, though. I was just keeping everything a secret from you until today, so that you wouldn't show up. And both Jack and I made sure to have your husband involved in this as well. He helped Jack explain to that girl you found what had happened and why she shouldn't go to the cafe with you. I was never going to get carried away with any of this because that was the only plan I had.
You have to be kidding me. You talked with my husband about all of this as well? And you told that young woman about this? All of that work I put in. I put in so much work finding that girl for my son to marry.
Yep. She really was such a wonderful young woman. When I was talking with her over the phone, she told me how bad she felt that I'd have a mother-in-law like you. And as a thank you for saving her from ever seeing you in person, she sent me some high-end shoes in the mail. She told me that whenever I wear them, I'll be reminded of how I saved another sister's life.
What?
So, with all that being said, please go and enjoy that other plan that popped up for you. You don't have to come to our wedding today, and after this, we're going to be cutting ties to you.
You're cutting ties to me too?
Both Jack and I decided that that was the best option. We don't want to deal with you anymore, Kimberly. And right now, Jack is next to me saying he's wanting to vomit after he just had a talk with you.
Why would you say something like that, Jack? I was just doing all of this for your happiness.
If you want for him to be happy, then allow for the two of us to have a great wedding and marriage. I was the one he proposed to and asked to be with for the rest of his life. I am the one that he chose, yet you are going against the one person he is most happy with, all for your own biased reasons.
You shut the hell up. I am against you marrying him because you were never raised the correct way like he was. Because you only ever had a mother raise you. You don't know what the love of both parents is like, and you have never been punished by both parents either. I have no choice but to say no to him marrying you, because you are nothing more than a useless child to this society.
If that's what you're gonna say, Mom, then I think the same thing about myself. I never knew what the love of both my parents was like.
What?
I never felt any love coming from you, only from Dad. If anything, I feel like I was raised in worse conditions than Lily was.
What the hell are you going on about right now, Jack? You were loved by both your father and I more than anyone else could be. We made sure to raise you to become the most successful man ever. I was always by your side and never let you once get into any trouble, right?
Are you kidding me? All you ever did was force me to stay inside all day while you left the house to go play.
What?
You were always leaving me with a babysitter while you left the house for close to 10 hours a day. When I was still young and would cry over small things, you wouldn't coddle me. You called me annoying and told me to shut the hell up. And that's why you never stuck around the house with me and hired so many babysitters. When it came to Dad, he had things like work that kept him busy all day so he couldn't always be with me. I'm pretty sure there was a reason for leaving me at home all the time like that as well, right?
Hold on,
You only ever came back home to start raising me after I'd finished elementary school. You came back for me then because I was older and no longer needed all of your attention, and then you started to try and act like my mother.
You remember a lot from back then, don't you? I thought you wouldn't be able to remember anything from when you were little.
I remember it all so well because I was always lonely and sad. I didn't even get to experience things like eating my mom's cooking like Lily has. And whenever I was sick and needed to stay home from school, you never said that it was okay. Instead, you forced me to go. I had to grow up never knowing what it was like to have parents around me who cared, and yet Lily still loves me. Someone like me who had no parents. So I ain't listening to the crap that comes out of your mouth about our marriage.
How dare you talk to your own mother like that?
Who are you calling my mother? You're not even willing to come out to my wedding today. Are we done here? I don't see you as my mother, and I never want to see you in general. I'm cutting ties to you right now. So when we have kids, and when you need your child to support you in old age, you can forget about trying to contact me, because I'm not ever letting you into my life again.
What am I going to do, Lily? I was told by my husband last night when he got home from your guy's wedding that he wants a divorce now. And then he kicked me out of the house. And when it turned night, he didn't let me back inside.
Well, there's no reason for someone to let you back into their house when they're getting a divorce from you. From what your husband has told me, you're nothing more than a stranger to him now.
No way. To be divorced at an age like mine, and having to lose my house now is too unbelievable. Hey, Lily, I'm coming over to your place right now. Would that be all right with you?
What?
I don't have anyone else to ask for help right now. I promise to stay quiet and not get in the way of your new married life to my son. So would you please allow me to come and live with you?
Did you forget that yesterday was the start of us having cut ties to you? There's no way we're going to let you into our house.
Then you stop cutting ties to me, right? I get that I did some things wrong along the way, having been scared of doing things like raising Jack and always running from him. But as his mother, I've always loved him and still do. If I have to actually lose my son like this, my heart is going to be torn to shreds.
Kimberly.
Being from a house where you only ever had your mother, you can understand how horrible this is for me, right? You understand how precious the bond between a mother and her child is, right? No matter what happens, the mother should always be with her kids, right?
Good point. Considering that I only ever had my mother around, I do understand very well. Things like family are what the mother should be worried about most.
Lily!
Which is why a mother who doesn't put her family first and support them is no longer a mother at all. In that moment where they stop thinking about their family as everything, they become nothing. So could you please give up now? Your relationship you had with Jack was severed the moment you started to leave him home like that all the time to go out and play.
What?
It was only ever my mom and I in the house. And that's why I'm able to understand just how important it is for the child to have their mother, and the mother to raise their child. That's what a family really is. Even if I had my father around during all that, the family would still revolve around the mother's love for her kids. It's all about that love and support for one another. But for someone like you, who is only ever around when she needs help, that makes you anything but family to someone like Jack.
No, wait. Lily? Are you pretty much saying that I'm being abandoned now? That's so cold of you.
I'm sorry, but I never knew what it was like to be loved by both my parents and raised in a way you don't agree with. That might be the reason why I'm so cold at times. Sorry, I guess. But unlike Jack, I'm never going to cut ties to my mom. Which means that I'm still warmer than someone like him who had both his parents around growing up. That's all. Goodbye forever now. After that, there were no more notifications on my phone from Kimberly, as I believe she had learned her place. And soon after that, her husband was able to get that divorce he had been wanting from her, and they were no more. Like she said to me, he would be taking the house and everything in the divorce, only leaving her with one of the cars and all of her furniture that he didn't even like. And so, after he had loaded up the car for her with all of her junk, he threw the keys out the window to where she was laying in the yard crying and told her to screw off. Then, only once after that happened, she sent a message to Jack saying that she was so sorry for the mother she'd become and for never loving him enough to prove that they were family. And then, she proceeded to say that one day, she hoped that he'd be calling her his mama once more and that they'd be able to see one another again. But Jack didn't even give her response to any of that and left her on read, blocking her number right after that. I know that I'm pretty cold for what I said to his mom before I stopped talking to her, but what he did there was ice cold for sure. From rumors I've heard, after the divorce and everything, Kimberly made a move all the way back to her parents' house. But back there were all of her old classmates from back in the day, who had families of their own now with grandchildren and all, and the sight of that made her feel even worse. And so, to this day, she has closed herself off from the world and spends all her time inside the house, never leaving it for anything.